Hey, I want to go a little further, don't I? For example, as a chemist, because he also spoke about the importance of exercise. What is the change or what is the chemical need for two things, intermittent fasting and exercise? What does it do chemically? What chemically produces something good in the body? These two things?
First, we all need exercise. So I'm going to put it like this. You have a vehicle stopped all the time. If you don't start it, it's going to be damaged. You still have to give him our body. It still needs more oxygenation than our cells because it reaches the, let's say, biological part if we are all calm. Our cells are also going to be calm. We need everyone. We need chaos. So exercise will help me oxygenate movement. Our cells are going to want, look, we need energy because the muscle is exercising you. We maintain more breathing in the lethargy they were. They begin to activate and they generate the requirements you need. The bad thing is when we over demand ourselves. But if we do proper exercise, if we start, we can't run a 42-kilometer marathon. We're not going to melt down and die of metabolic acidosis. But if I go little by little, my body gets used to it generating the amount of energy I need. And just as I am going to have bad breath, when I have a much more strenuous exercise, my cell can also function. With that small amount of oxygen and that lactic acid, for example, does not cause me a cramp or something like this, it is already good because you take them out of the lethargy in which I was to start working because your body needs all this. The other question was about intermittent fasting. Is intermittent fasting not eating, and what does our cell do? Our cell needs energy so that our body, the functions that it needs and that do not stop, also needs energy, and means that the energy from what we eat runs out of food. Then it starts taking from other sources, and here comes the ketosis part, and then that generates an expense. You already know that when you consume food, what you don't spend accumulates as fat, yes, and the fat stays there. But instead, when there is no source of energy that does that in our body, it tries to take muscle, it tries to take fat, and again, it comes to the Krebs cycle and will want to obtain energy from the source that has protein, fat, and that. It also begins to generate a change in your body because it no longer only takes the carbohydrates that you already ate, you no longer have, and you begin to take the reserves that you already have in your body. And that's why people say, it's not that I'm losing weight, and it is because the amount of energy that it requires taking from the body, what you have stored in the fat stores.
Even Ivancito, do we already know where all that energy is going to come out? Hey, but this, for example, I have an understanding that cells, when one fasts, it is as if they become more resilient as well, and it is as if they are rejuvenated, for example, that what chemically impacts that cell?
What happens is that I already take other sources of energy. Not anymore. Our food is more full of carbohydrates, for example. So try to take another different source of energy where their process of getting that energy, let's just say, is much more friendly to them, right?
Okay, I understand. It is interesting because, for example, if you go to social networks, it is nothing against communicators. But there's a difference, isn't there? Because, for example, many people talk in these media about how they feel when they do all this kind of vitamin diets and all that. But it's one thing to feel something else, to know the science behind it.
Although I have one thing, the person who does these intermittent aids also has to have themselves checked because not everyone can do it because some of your body may suffer or that you have weakened and not everyone can do it. What's more, sometimes those who start intermittent fasting, you do a sugar test and it's high and you say, I'm diabetic, not what your body is wanting, and then glucose levels go up. So that's why I tell you, not everyone can do it. You always have to control yourself, that you are doing well, that your body is not going to suffer. Not me.
And the recommendation is always look for professionals.
Kong,
You do it.
don't do it, but you have to support yourself that you are doing it appropriately and that your body is not actually suffering. Not everyone will be able to do intermittent fasting. There are people who still need to replace themselves because their body cannot metabolize, for example, certain ingredients. So those people can and need and require, others don't. So remember that every organism is different. Every one of us is going to react differently to environmental stimuli, to medications. We are all different, Wendell, the body. Wendell is different from mine. For example, if I do intermittent fasting, perhaps many will faint. Yeah, I go into a diabetic coma because my sugar drops so much. Others, yes, you can tolerate it.
Why? I'm glad that we talk about this topic because there are so many people who influence with goodwill, but there is no scientific knowledge which evaluates, as you say, each case has to be different, right? And this leads me because it is fascinating what the chemist knows from chemistry itself, not the components because they study it. The skincare industry, for example, is huge. I mean, and for example, you have all this knowledge, and I have two curiosities that I would like to ask you.